Alright, this will be the People News. Okay, this video is actually from Joe Cool. Yeah, buddy. And also, he got this off of Good Citizen News. Now I watched the court he did. It showed part 1. I haven't really seen part 2 yet. 1 of 2, as far as I'm aware of. However, Joe Cool's got better equipment to kind of come through here and make it a little easier and define certain things. But I'm going to give my opinion that we also need to be aware of, alright? And speaking of my opinion, right, I'm not an attorney, okay? So I'm not going to give legal advice, just my opinion, alright? Why? Because I'm not an attorney. That's why I cannot give you legal advice. Alright, we never look straight forward. We always look around just to be able to protect ourselves by any means necessary. Alright? We got to think outside the box. Okie dokie? And let's proceed forward on this.
I've never watched Mr. Lewis's videos, but I watch these videos on YouTube all the time. And I lean more towards allowing citizens to hold their government accountable and challenge the authority of government. He could have sat out there and recorded all day.
I've got one that can see.
This is Good Citizen News, modern day patriot. He takes the ride. He got popped out a week ago, but this vid stems from an arrest he got a while back at the Social Security office.
So you can't have guns, knives, scissors, video recording.
I think this sign clearly shows that there is no recording allowed inside. Even has a statute attached. Cue the heroics.
This is a federal building?
So there's two different things going on here. The first is that Mr. Lewis was expressing his right to free speech under the First Amendment by recording in a federal building for news purposes.
If I may. So there is a video that the defendant uploaded to YouTube, and in that video you can clearly see where the defendant videotaped customers in the Social Security Administration interacting with Social Security agents while conducting business.
Oh, I'm just taking some video and gathering some content for a story. Yeah, for news purposes, I can.
And Your Honor, I would have to argue that it does say photograph, it does not say video where there's sound.
One can make the argument, I suppose, that a video is just a very fast collection of individual photographs.
Right, Judge. I think it's prohibiting his entrance into the building, so it's saying that he can't record it in general. That's my understanding.
Renee is referring to this sign on the outside of the building, which states that it's federal law and Social Security Administration policy, and that says you can't do it without express written consent. So the federal law that is referring to would be what we're looking at right here. That if you're doing things for commercial purposes, you got to have written consent. And then the exception to all this is, except otherwise a rule, an order, a directive, or whatever. It doesn't say anything about policy here. There's nothing in the rule that carves out an exception for First Amendment protection based on policy.
I get it. Okay, I get it. Now I see where both sides are coming from. I think that the policy on the sign is in contradiction to the law on the books. And where the policy contradicts the law trumps.
The judge absolutely got that right. Because on my past videos, we talked about statute codes and regulations and all this. However, the Constitution is above everything. If they do not coincide with one another, then the Constitution is above all. Okay? So the judge is... Now, that being said, he's hesitant because he knows where this can play. And he's wrestling with himself. Because he knows one thing can happen another thing can happen, right? But he's wrestling with himself.
Title 41, Section 102-74-.420 clearly gives a citizen the authority to record building entrances, lobbies. I can't see how you would record a lobby without walking in it. Foyers, corridors, and auditoriums, and the memorandum of policy and procedure states, hey, we know folks are now coming in to do this. Let them do it. Let them do it. It is uncomfortable, but it is permitted. I was raised to follow rules.
Okay, we're going to stop right there, y'all. Okay, now just for argument's sake, flip it. When these cameras started coming out in public buildings and all that, I was uncomfortable. I did not like it. Okay? However, if they can record me and I am their boss, I can record them. Okay? Founding Father says, all tyrannies happen behind closed doors. So, there's been a couple of website channels, and I don't know what they are, but they talked about going there and auditing the overall fundings and this, that, the courts go through and all that kind of stuff. That is lawful. We have a right to know. We just don't know these things, right? Because that's where tyranny begins, is behind the closed doors.
And that makes us good at bending to the will of authority that sometimes other people don't feel like they need to bend to, and they test the limits. And Mr. Lewis is testing the limits, and so I have to, as a judge, set aside my own nature of being a rules follower.
There you go, y'all. Judges out there are following rules, and they have to wrestle with themselves instead of following rules. Actually follow law, constitution, all this kind of stuff. Now, there's a lot of times they go back to statutes and all that, but once again, if statutes contradict the Constitution, then the judge needs to go to the Constitution and say the statute is null and void. They're not doing that very often, y'all. They're kind of staying in the rules area and not really the Constitution area. They're kind of going into the statute area and not really in the Constitution area. So this judge has actually been really good saying what he's saying, but you can hear him, and he was honest about how he is wrestling with himself to follow the law against his nature of being a rule follower. All right? And that's what cops are doing, right? They're following rules. They're following policies. They don't know nothing else. Right? That's the reason why when you ask them about the Constitution, number one, the attorneys tell them not to answer any questions. So they're very good at the Fifth Amendment. We're just not good at it. All right? But number two, they really don't know it because they're too busy learning the policies and the rules, right? And that's what getting everybody in trouble. And that's how innocent people go in jail. Remember, justice delayed is justice denied. And due process has been violated, okay? I'll say it again. Always ask, before going to jail, if you get arrested, to go directly to the magistrate, because the cop cannot give legal determination or probable cause. He has to go to the magistrate. The magistrate says, okay, well, there's probable cause here. Okay? So these attorneys and all this kind of stuff, it's twisting things around. All right? And they created their own rules and policies, but they're not actually going by law. They're going by rules and policies. So, anyway, let's go.
And actually follow the rules. Man, doggone it. It sounds really, from the plain language reading of the law, that he is within his rights to do what he's doing. And I suspect he's going to get arrested some more because he's going to keep pushing the government.
And yeah, that's where we're at, right? Everybody's going by rules and policies, not by the Constitution. So people always going to be getting arrested until we figure out one day, or they figure out one day, hey, you know, we the people is not as near as ignorant to the law as we used to be. Okay? They've been standing on their rules and policies for so long, they forgot about law or Constitution. Remember, any law, any codes or statutes or anything like that contradict the state or federal Constitution, it is null and void, people. Alright? And in order to keep an innocent man out of jail, they must have this thing called a due process, which means you must need to see a magistrate to verify that the officer actually had probable cause. Because the officer cannot make legal determination. That's exactly what he's doing, is making legal determination. And the Supreme Court says, well, you know, if he has probable cause, the judge is not allowed to give him authority to make legal determinations, and that's even against the bar policies. Okay? It's just, it's a power trip for the government, less for you. Because all that rule or policy or opinion is, it's a bypass of the Constitution, and it made it sound good.
To be responsible to the people that fund it. And that is laudable.
Okay. I'm sorry. Doing pretty good. How about yourself? I wish these employees here would do their jobs, but I mean, the employees do jobs.
What is that?
Serve the public.
In what capacity?
Well, they're not doing their jobs.
How is it they're not doing their job though? They're serving.
They're not serving anybody. They're just closed all the windows.
Okay, well, their job here is to protect this place and take care of the Social Security office. That's what they work for. So I mean, who else do you want them to protect?
That's not their job. Hey, now he's making assumptions and presumptions. He's making a legal determination of what the other people's job can and cannot do when he has no knowledge of the fact.
I don't need them to protect anybody. I need them to do their jobs. What are you talking about? These guys or the employees back here?
Well, that's what you're complaining on them. Right?
No, I'm not complaining about them. I'm complaining about the employees at the Social Security Administration.
Okay, and what do you want them to do?
I want them to do their jobs.
Why don't you just go? Why haven't you applied them to come work? Maybe you can kind of help them out.
Oh, I don't want to work here. I make more money doing this.
Okay. Well, then how you complain? Maybe they're short-handed, right?
No, they just close their videos, but they just close their windows because they don't like me taking video. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe they're short-handed. This is a bad person. Maybe you doing this cause maybe some sort of emotion might be even slowing them down. So people who probably do need help can't get it because now they're one that they shut down because.
That one officer right there, you can see his face. He's like, what am I doing? What is going on here? It makes sense, but yet, you know, I got to follow the rules. I don't know. What do I do? I'm confused.
They don't want you here.
That doesn't matter what they want. It's public property. Now, if you go look at that sign on the wall, like I showed them, what I'm doing is completely legal. So
Okay, well, unfortunately, they don't really want you here.
that's a goddamn misfortunate problem. Yep.
Well, with them wanting not wanting you to be here. Alright, is there a reason why you don't want to leave? There's a reason why you don't.
When I'm done conducting my business and you educate them, telling them that I'm legally allowed to do this as a First Amendment Constitution protected activity, get to gather content for a story, then yeah, sure, I'm gathering whatever I want to gather. Because it says right there on the wall, I'm legally allowed to do this. I can even show you where it says it, if you would like me to do so, and educate you a little bit. And then you can say, well, there's nothing we can do. He's not breaking the law in any sort of way. Just deal with it. I mean, that's what you can do. Sure. Oh, I'm not going to leave. Thank you, though. No, but my point is to finish conducting my business and my story. But right here, it says photograph, news, advertising, or commercial purposes, okay? There is section A, section B, and section C is the only one that applies, okay? You can read through the whole thing if you want, but section A is for non-commercial purposes, section B is for commercial purposes, and section C is for news purposes. Commercial purposes, or non-commercial purposes, and commercial purposes need consent, okay? And that's what that signs on the door says, you need consent to video in here. For news purposes, I don't need consent. I can gather content for my story, unrestricted, except I can't go into like the non-public areas. This is my press pass.
Did you serve your country in any nature at all?
I'm doing it right now.
You've put yourself in harm's way.
I put myself in harm's way every day. I put myself in harm's way.
You gotta laugh at the irony on that, right? Every day he's putting himself in harm's way from them, right? He's fixing to be harm's way because they're fixing to arrest him, right? So he did put himself in harm's way to teach us what our rights are. I mean, how plainer can that get?
What are you doing?
Fighting for these rights.
Antagonizing law enforcement, antagonizing people that are trying to conduct.
I'm not antagonizing anybody.
Again, he's making assumptions and presumptions. All right, he's playing one side of the ball, and probably didn't even get the full story on the other side. Right? There was a call in. They didn't go investigate and harassing him.
If we're here, obviously somebody is concerned.
Their butts are hurting. Maybe they should get some preparation H.
Why are their butts hurting?
They just don't like the cameras, and that's not my
Why
problem.
would they not like the cameras?
Because that's not my problem. I don't know. I don't have a problem with the camera. You come in
You don't
while I'm
mind-
doing business,
you
I don't care.
You don't mind causing people discomfort and causing a distraction and causing chaos for the sake
I'm not
of
causing chaos. I'm not causing.
Yep. Victim explaining. They're changing everybody into a victim, and making him responsible for their, trying to put him as a criminal.
Why do we hear that?
Because people's feelings are hurt. You're not feelings enforcement, you're law enforcement. And as a federal law, this is federal law, I am not breaking any. So you should just tell the people, say, hey, look, there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry you're feeling upset. Can't do anything about it.
Let's sit and think about that, y'all. Once again, he planned out, told the officers right there that he was not breaking law, and they know it. They know he's not breaking the law.
I am conducting business right now.
Okay, so here it goes. This manager's gonna have, she's giving you a trespass warning to do the crime method.
All right, if I don't leave, you're gonna arrest me.
That's correct.
You're gonna violate federal law.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying. So you're gonna do this?
If you don't like it, when you go to court, you can let them know.
No, I'll leave.
Yeah, when he goes to court, all right? Again, we need to learn to stand on our rights, right? As soon as he gets arrested, he needs to tell him directly, right then and there, directly to the magistrate, to be able to show probable cause. Okay?
I'll leave. Yeah, I'll leave.
We've already gone there, so put us down.
No, you're not. I'm leaving. I said I would leave. I'm leaving.
You were already given a warning. You were given a warning.
I said I would leave. No, I said I would leave. I said I was just getting a back number. I figured if I leave.
Yeah, there's somebody standing outside Diesel's house. I'll be right back.
They've been waiting to get the opportunity to grab him. And they did not give him any chance to really leave. They was ready. We're going to give him a warning, but he's not leaving right then and there. That's it.
I was leaving. Come on, I've already given. Come on. I said I would leave. Come on. Do not pull it out of my pocket. Come on, I don't want to mess it up. I do not consent to you going in my pocket.
Alrighty, so there we go. Like I said, go to Good Citizen News, alright, and check out that particular case. And this will be the People News. Till next time, bye y'all.